Today's lesson is the Greek freak, NBA star Giannis Antetokounmpo. Hi, everybody. My name is Roger.
And my name is Helen.
And today we're talking about an NBA star player by the name of Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's from Greece, but his parents are originally from Nigeria. And remember, he had kind of a rough start. He's from a poor family. His parents were illegal immigrants, so they had trouble finding work. So Giannis and his brothers would sell bags and watches on the street. Eventually, they saw them playing basketball. Some scouts saw them, and they liked Giannis there, and they thought, hey, he's got some potential to play in the NBA in the future.
That's right. And then he joined the Milwaukee Bucks, which took a chance on him. And then they discovered that he was truly a boon to their team. So he brought a lot of benefit, a lot of success to their team. And today we're going to continue looking at Giannis Antetokounmpo's career and see how he has developed since he was first discovered.
Okay, so let's continue to talk about his NBA career and his life by listening to the first part of our lesson, and then we'll come right back.
By 2013, when he was just 18 years old, Giannis had made it to the NBA. No one thought much of the scrawny rookie, but he believed in himself. This was his chance to change his family's life, and he was ready to give it his all. He put in extra time on the court, transformed his physique at the gym, and even trained with Kobe Bryant. His hard work paid off, and he received the Most Improved Player Award in 2017.
大家好，第一部分我们看到单字 physique 这个字是名词，表示体格或者是体型。例如 Drew has a great physique since he exercises every day. Drew 的体格很好，因为他天天运动。或是 He has a sturdy and powerful physique. 他拥有强壮有力的体格。再来我们看到片语 pay off。指的是得到回报或者是成功。举例来说 Cynthia's hard work in high school paid off and she was accepted to the university. Cynthia 在高中的努力有了回报，她获得了大学的入学许可。或者 All the work I've done on my garden is finally paying off and I get fresh vegetables every day. 我在菜园里所做的一切努力总算成功。我每天都可收成新鲜的蔬菜。
By 2013, when he was just 18 years old, Giannis had made it to the NBA. No one thought much of the scrawny rookie, but he believed in himself. So when he was 18 years old, he made it to the NBA. To make it to something means to arrive, to succeed in getting to that place. So he succeeded to getting to the NBA, and no one had thought much of the scrawny rookie. So a lot of people didn't believe in him because they thought, well, he's young, he's inexperienced, plus he looked scrawny. Somebody who is scrawny is very thin in a way that's not healthy looking or that's not attractive, because thin can also be a good thin. But when you say somebody is scrawny, and this word is usually used to describe boys or men, very rarely is it used for women, you're saying that this person looks very weak and very thin.
Yep, they're very skinny. They don't have a lot of muscles. And if you want to be in the NBA, you not only have to be tall, but you have to be quite muscular because you're driving the baseline and driving toward the basket all the time against defensive players. So yeah, you've got to have some muscles on you. So when he was only 18 years old, he made it to the NBA. And here we've got the phrase to make it. That means to be successful. It also means to arrive at some place or be able to go someplace. I could say, hey, can you come to the meeting at 3 o'clock tomorrow? No, I can't make it. I have something else to do at that time. But in this particular case, it means that he successfully joined the NBA. He made it to the NBA. But still, they weren't impressed. They didn't think much of him. If you don't think much of somebody, you're not really impressed by someone. They don't really bowl you over with their skill or their size or their talent. So, yeah, they kind of thought, well, yeah, he's tall and maybe he's good at playing, but he's still pretty scrawny. We're not quite sure if he has potential, but he still believed in himself. He probably wanted to be successful for the sake of his family. This was his chance to change his family's life, and he was ready to give it his all. This is a phrase we often use in sports that just means to try your hardest, to work really hard, to give it your all. So, for example, I could say, I can't let you talk to our star player right now because he's out on the court right now giving it his all. He's competing really intensively out there in order to win the game. And again, he believed in himself, but people didn't think much of him because he was a scrawny rookie. A rookie is a beginner. They're in their first year.
So because people saw him this way, they didn't really believe in him, he put in extra time on the court, transformed his physique at the gym, and even trained with Kobe Bryant. So to put in extra time on the court, meaning that he spent extra time practicing basketball on the court, and he transformed his physique. To transform something means to change something. You can transform, for instance, an ugly-looking house into a beautiful one by changing the furniture around. So that's changing the inside of a house. But in this case, he changed or transformed his physique. When you say the word physique, you're talking about the shape of someone's body. And again, it's usually used to talk about men, very rarely for women. So if he transformed his physique at the gym, it just means he went to the gym to work out, to make himself more muscular, stronger, so that he would not be seen as a scrawny rookie.
Yeah, I think you would use the word physique to describe men and their body development, and you would use the word figure to talk about women. She has a nice figure. She's a pretty lady, whereas if you're a muscular man playing for the NBA, we would describe you as having a good physique. So he lifted weights at the gym. He probably had a coach and a trainer, and he even trained with Kobe Bryant, who before his death was a big star in the NBA. So Kobe Bryant probably took Jans under his arm and said, hey, I'll train this guy. He's got some potential. And his hard work paid off, and he received the Most Improved Player Award in 2017. So, of course, you always want your hard work to pay off. You want it to be worth your while.
Right. If something pays off, it brings you some benefits as a result. So you don't want to be doing something and spending a lot of time and energy on something if it doesn't pay off, if it doesn't give you back what you put into it.
And of course, as a result, he got a certain award, the Most Improved Player. He received that award about 5 years ago, and he continued to shine for the Milwaukee Bucks, which is a basketball team in Milwaukee, my mother's hometown. Okay, that brings us to the end of the first part of our lesson for today. Let's move on now to the second part.
Giannis has since received 2 MVP awards and the Defensive Player of the Year award. In 2020, he signed the most lucrative contract in NBA history to continue playing for the Milwaukee Bucks. The investment paid off the following year, with Giannis leading the Bucks to their first championship win in 50 years. Even with all this success, Giannis still strives to improve himself every year. It's simple. You've got to be better than what you were last year, he said.
第二部分，我们看到形容词 lucrative 表示赚钱的，或者是获利多的，还有有利可图的。例如 Bonnie has a lucrative jewelry business. Bonnie 有一份赚钱的珠宝事业。或是 The baseball player signed a lucrative sponsorship deal. 这位棒球运动员签署了一份利润丰厚的赞助协议。最后，我们看到动词 strive 表示努力或者是奋斗，像是 Jeff strives to improve himself by regularly taking classes. Jeff 努力提升自己，定期去上课。也可以说 Lisa is striving to become an actress, so she tries out for various movie parts as often as possible. Lisa 正在努力奋斗成为一名演员，所以她尽可能的饰演各种不同的电影角色。
Jans has since received 2 MVP awards and the Defensive Player of the Year award. So he received 2 Most Valuable Player awards and also the Defensive Player of the Year award. So a defensive player is somebody whose role on a team is to stop members of the other team from scoring points in a game. And he was very good at doing this, Jans. So he won an award for it, which was called the Defensive Player of the Year award.
Right. Of course, if you're on the defensive side of the team, you're trying to stop the other team from scoring. Of course, in basketball, they switch roles all the time, but he was good at stopping players from scoring against his team, and he was so successful that he received the Defensive Player of the Year award. And in 2020, just a couple of years ago, he signed the most lucrative contract in NBA history to continue playing for the Milwaukee Bucks. So if something's lucrative, it pays very well. Of course, everybody's looking for a lucrative career, a job in which you can receive a lot of pay. Well, not everybody. Some people have a different idea of what rewards there are in a job. You're not going to have a lucrative career as a teacher, for example, although you will get good benefits after you retire. But if you want to have a lucrative career, you probably want to work in finance or stocks or things like that. But he got a good contract, and he continued playing for the Bucks in Milwaukee.
Yes, and the investment paid off the following year with Jans leading the Bucks to their first championship win in 50 years. So investment here refers to the fact that the Milwaukee Bucks decided to take in Jans. An investment is usually money that you put in to make more money. So if you were to put money into the stock market, if you bought stocks, then those stocks would be your investment. You can also buy houses as an investment because you might want to sell them one day. But investment can also be used to talk about time. Invest time in somebody's education. You can also talk about a person as an investment because if you spend time and money to develop that person in the hopes that that person will become successful one day and give you something back, then that person becomes your investment.
Yep, they had to pay a lot of money because this player had some potential. They brought him to the United States. They gave him a place to live. They hired coaches and things like that. So that's an investment. Hopefully they can get some return on that investment, but the investment paid off. It was successful because Jans led the Bucks to their first championship win in 50 years. Championship, of course, refers to the tournament in which a winner is decided. This would be the NBA Finals. The Bucks won the championship when he was playing for them.
Yes, and even with all the success, Jans still strives to improve himself every year. So, in other words, despite the fact that Jans has won all of these awards and he is winning for his team and he's making a lot of money, he's not completely satisfied. He's not relaxed. He still strives to improve himself. So when you strive, you make a lot of effort to achieve something. And in Jans' case, he is making a lot of effort to improve himself, to get better and better every year.
And indeed, basketball can be a fun sport, so of course he wants to improve. And here's what he says. It's simple. You've got to be better than what you were last year. And again, that's what he said. So he's continuing to work hard, and maybe the Bucks will win next year. Okay, that brings us to the end of the second part of our lesson for today. Let's move on now to the third and final part.
Though he has struggled, Jans has come out on top. From selling watches on the streets of Greece to becoming a star NBA player, he has proven that anything is possible.
So, as we have seen, Giannis Antetokounmpo is a very interesting athlete. He has struggled a lot to arrive at where he is right now. He has worked hard in many different ways. So now we arrive at the concluding paragraph, which begins with this sentence. Though he has struggled, Giannis has come out on top. So when you come out on top, it means you have succeeded. You have managed to get to the top position. So even though he has struggled for a long time, he has indeed succeeded.
Right. This is a true rags to riches story. Of course, he began from a poor family in Greece selling watches and bags on the street. He was eventually discovered by an NBA scout, and eventually he began training to play in the NBA, and even Kobe Bryant got involved. But he has struggled. Of course, you need to work hard because, well, he did not go through a typical basketball sequence. Most players, of course, start playing in the United States at a young age in junior high school, and they, of course, play in high school and then eventually university. But Giannis, of course, came from Greece, and he had a different background there. So, of course, he had to struggle to become a top player, but he did come out on top. If you come out on top, well, that means you are the winner. You surpass all your obstacles, and there's nothing in your way.
Yes, so from selling watches on the streets of Greece to becoming a star NBA player, he has proven that anything is possible. Now we have this pattern from something to something, and we can use it when we want to talk about many different things and include all of them in what we're saying. So you can say something like, from candy to potato chips, this store sells all of the snacks that anyone would ever want.
So again, this is a real rags to riches story. And this happens a lot all over the world. Of course, if you're lucky enough to be discovered by somebody, whether it be for sports or for performance or something like that, it kind of makes me wonder how many other undiscovered talent is out there somewhere. There probably are people all over the world selling watches and bags and whatever on the streets that have potential, but they haven't been discovered.
That's right. And we do also have to remember that there are a lot of people, as Roger said, who struggle all their lives and are never discovered. And we only hear about the success stories. So still, it's important to reach for your dreams, I believe, but also to be prepared for situations where you might not get what you want.
Okay, that brings us to the end of our lesson for today. It's time now to listen once again to our Chinese teacher.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第一部分有一个句子写到，杨尼斯在球场上投入额外的时间，在健身房改造自己的体型，甚至还跟 Kobe Bryant 一起训练。好，那文中用到动词 transform 表达改造。我们来学习它的字首字根。好，先来看到 form 这个字根呢，它表示形式、形状、塑形或是使成型的意思。那么在 transform 这个字当中，它的字首 trans 这部分表示穿越或是转变。那么 form 是形状、形式，合在一起 transform 它就有使转变、转换、改变、改造的那种意思咯。那我们补充几个有相同字根的单字。第一个补充的是 uniform， 就是制服的那个单字。那它的字首 uni 表示单一， form 是形状。那么 uniform 它当形容词其实是可以用来描述一致的、不变的，当名词则表示制服。第二个补充的是 perform， 它的字首 per 有完全的意思， form 是形状。同学们可以试着想，当我们把某事物的形状样貌完全呈现出来，完全表现出来，就不难想到 perform 它有执行、履行或是完成、表演、演出的意思了。好，第三个补充的是 conform， 它的字首 con 有共同的意思， form 是形式。当每个人做事情都是依照相同的形式，按照共同的规范，就 可以联想到 conform 它有遵守、配合、符合的意思。好，那读到课文第3部分第1句，虽然他曾经过得很辛苦，扬尼斯已经站上巅峰。那文中用到 come out on top， 这个片语呢是用在比赛情境的时候呢，表示经过一番激烈的竞争之后，终于打败对手，胜出夺冠。那它就有可能是在竞争或是比赛当中获胜、名列前茅的意思。那如果你是把它用在面对危机啊或是困难，这是表达说努力克服万难，最后终于成功的意思。我们再顺便补充几个跟 top 有关的用语。第一个at the top of one's game 或者是 on top of one's game 表示说某人保持在最佳状态，处于巅峰。 Game 它原本是指游戏比赛嘛，那在这里它其实是指领域行业。那这个用语呢则是指说在某个领域，可能是工作啊比赛等等，表现达到了顶峰，呈现最佳状态。那第二个补充的是 blow one's top， 这个字面意思是把某人的头顶炸开了，就好像中文说的怒发冲冠、火冒三丈的意思，所以它是指勃然大怒、非常生气的意思。那第3个补充的是 off the top of one's head， 字面意思是在某人的头顶之外，表示不用动脑筋就想得出来，类似中文说的不假思索。那以上是今天的重点整理，我们来回顾今天的单字吧。
Transform. The internet completely transformed the way we do business. Defensive. The coach came up with a good defensive strategy for the game. Investment. Christian's investments have made him a good amount of profit. Championship. Are you planning to watch the championship game? Strive. Always strive to do your best, even if the task seems unimportant.
Discussion Starter starts now!
Here's our discussion starter for today. The question is, what did you find most inspiring about Jan's Antetokounmpo's story and why?
Well, I was inspired to learn that Jans was actually coached at one period by Kobe Bryant, that they worked together, because it made me think that Kobe Bryant was generous enough to want to help him, and I think it's always great that when somebody who has already reached success gave the time to help somebody else become successful.
Well, I find the fact that his name is so unusual to be very inspiring because, hey, if you've got a name that's as difficult to pronounce as that, but you can still be successful, that is something to take note of. Well, everyone, today's article has come to an end, and I sure hope you enjoyed reading along with us. I am Roger.
I'm Helen.
See you next time.